Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is J Marie Booklist, and today I'm making a video about creating a standard operation procedure book, for your department. So when I worked on the main floor, we did not have it because the secretaries are real good about working. Like, we very seldom had float secretaries. We were real good about it. We always had two, and if one called out, there was always one who knew how to do everything on the unit. But now when I went over to the IC, so we didn't really need I mean, it would have been nice, but we didn't really need a book to show, this is where this is where this is, because we always had two. And like I said, if one called out, and even if we did get another secretary, you had one who knew where things were. The charge nurses knew where everything was. You were good. So the unit could sustain itself. We obviously had two charge nurses, things like that. So it was a big unit. It could sustain itself. You had people who've been there for a long time. Now, when I went over to the ICU, it was the same way a little bit. We only had one secretary, and the nurses had been there. They knew how to do. They've been there since that part of the hospital opened, so they knew how to do things. But they could not keep secretaries. So when I came over there, when me and the one that worked during the week and I worked the weekends, we were the stable ones for like a long time, because they could never keep secretaries because they were messy. Okay, they were messy. I'm telling y'all, they were. But they could never keep secretaries, like, no, and so they always had to have float nurses, float secretaries and things like that. And then also, they had we had our sister floor, and that floor, it could keep secretaries for a while, and then they're gone, because we had the bully that worked night shift who would bully all the day shift hucks. So those floors would have benefited from a standard operation procedure book. So on this floor, this is what we do, because not all units operate the same. Now, I, as a secretary, can go to another floor, float to another floor, and, put orders in the computer. I know, what to do behind the desk. But if I go to another floor, like I used to float all the time, what's the code to get into the break room? Because some floors had a code to get into the break room. Our floor, we didn't. Well, we did, but we always just kept the door open. Whereas like another floor, they always kept their door closed, their break room door closed. And what's the code to get in here? And then in the other, where I used to work, there was no code. It was just a door. And same thing, clean utility. Their clean utility, they had a code. The dirty utility, where I used to work, had a code. But in the ICU, the clean utility had a code. The dirty utility did not, but there was a door you had to go in, because there was two doors, and the one was always locked, so you had to have a key to get in. Mainly like maintenance people would come in that way. They had a key, but the other door was closed, but you can get in, but you had to be in the unit. So like when they would come and get the garbage, they would come in through that door. They had a key, and they can open it just from the hallway instead of coming in the unit. And then like in the main unit, the pharmacy, like the med room, had a code, but in the ICU you had to use your badge. So I never really went in the med room, because I had no reason to go in there, because I would just give the medication to the nurses. It's ICU. I would just give it to them. It's a small unit. So when it would come up the tube, we had a tube system, I would just hand it to them. Whereas on the other unit, we would get it. We had a robot. We had a robot that would come, and then we would get it out the robot, and then we would put it in the med room, and then the nurses would go in there and get it. So on the other floors, we would go in the med room just to put the medication down, but in the ICU we didn't. So we would just hand it to the nurses. Here you go, and that's just how. But every floor is different. So what are the rules of your floor? Like me working all over the place, I knew what the rules of their floor was. But when I first went over there, I didn't. So like same thing with the pantry. Like on the main part of the hospital, I can't speak for the whole floor because I don't know, but like the main part where I used to work, the charge nurses used to order the applesauce, orange juice, things like that to keep in the pantry. But in the ICU, we ordered it. Like that whole part of the hospital, the secretaries ordered it. And so I used to get called, the manager of the whole part over there texted me at home one day asking me what was the code, like what was the password for another floor, our sister floor. I'm like, I don't order up. I work up there. I don't order up there. But I don't think I would have. I mean, even if I know they had a book somewhere and it had the password in it, but they had something. We tried to organize on our sister floor. They would not let us. Okay. So we just left that alone. Why are you texting me on my day off? Ask me what a password is. But see, they weren't organized. If there was a standard operation book, yes, okay, you don't want, float secretaries to know the password to get onto the computer to order stuff, order supplies, things like that. You don't want that. But the manager, somebody should have that. If your secretary is not there and they're whoever orders it, if they're not there, someone needs to know how to order something. So like in ICU, me and the other girl, we were the ones that ordered, but we had it written down. So we knew where to go. Matter of fact, I think even the charge nurse, they knew where to go. We told them where to go. Okay. Cause sometimes they will order stuff. But that's just, we were different on our floor than they were on the sister floor. And then I even had, we had another department. I never worked over there because they tried to get me to train over there. I refused because I was like, it's too many cooks in the kitchen over here. It's too many people that think they in charge over here. Like, it was ridiculous. And so the one called me. She called me. She came over. She called me on the phone. No, I was at work. And she called me. She said, our secretary's not here today, which was true. She wasn't there. And she said, I need you to order juices for our department. I'm like, I can't order that. I know I'm the best. I know. And I know that I'm the best. But I can't order that. But see, their secretary should have had there should have been a book somewhere with when the secretary's not here that the nurses know how to order the products. So like our unit in the ICU, we didn't have a book, but we had a piece of paper. And whenever the password would expire, because I think it expired like every 90 days, me and the other girl, because we're the ones who did it, we would change it and we would write it on the paper so that both of us knew what it was. So when it came time to order, because the username stayed the same, but the password changed. So we had a piece of paper and we would just put something simple, like we might put the hospital name and our extension, on the phone extension, or our hospital name and our like pay code. We have a code when your department has a code, and something like that, something that's real easy to remember, So, but like the other, I don't work over there. Why are you calling me? Why are you texting me at home asking me what's the password? Your secretaries should have something somewhere that, yes, like I said, you don't want the, other secretaries or other people from other places knowing your password so they can order stuff on your name, under your name. But the nurses and the charge nurses and the manager should know. I mean, our charge nurse knew how to order it when we weren't there, or, even if we were there, they would just order, hey, we need more of this, I'm gonna order, But, like I said, me and her, we kept our stuff together. We had no problems with our pantry. But like the other floors, they did because it was so unorganized. So the question is, if someone comes to your unit, if a flow hut comes to your unit, do you have something with the codes to make it easy for them? Because it's already going to be a hard day for them. They may not want to float. Your unit might be hell on earth. A lot of reasons why a lot of people didn't like floating to the ICU is because they say it's slow. It's too slow. But see, I think it's just they just used to chaos. They used to crazy. And our unit is not crazy. They say we're slow, but we just lay back. I mean, it can be slow. I ain't gonna even lie. But the whole hospital slow. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's season. You got season and not non-season. We know when season is and when it's not. And I think they were just used to the crazy. I guess I had just got so I couldn't do the crazy no more on that side. And when I came, it's more laid back. It's much more laid back. So but like I said, it look, I'm telling you, it can get crazy. But I think they just like that chaos. They like that because our floor, yeah, it's slower than your floor, but it's more laid back because the nurses laid back. And so, but like, do they know where stuff is? Do they know, okay, if the printer runs out of, if you don't have printer, the paper is located here in the drawer behind you. Do they know that? If you need if you need paper, the paper is here behind you. Now, you don't want them to go all up in the where, the boxes of paper is. You don't want that, but you should have some paper, somewhere close to you. A few little pads of paper close to you. That's what I did. We had all these dang drawers behind us, and I kept about six, not, I guess, I don't want to say cases. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I kept about 6 of them in the drawer. And so all the secretaries on our, they knew that's where the paper was. I kept that nice and full because, my what's that OCD? I need, I can't, because who gonna keep running back there and get that paper? Because our sister floor, that was their problem. They never had paper. They had 10 printers because it was a big floor. And they never had paper. Like, can y'all keep paper here? Why we always got to go way over there to the storage? Just keep paper each area. No, that make too much. Okay. But so, do they know where the paper is? Do they know where the pens are? Extra pens. If someone, just little things. Just little things that your floor does different. Think about it. Think about what your floor does, and then think about if you floated to another floor or if you came from another floor and the things you do different. I talked about how on the other side of the hospital, the volunteers would take the patients. So when the patients were discharged, they would come up and get the patient. But on my part of the hospital, we didn't do that. We took the patients down. Like there are things you do differently. So if someone's coming from the other side and they're putting in the request for a volunteer, they calling for a volunteer. No, honey, no, we do it. Do you understand? There is a difference in the units. So what you should do is create some kind of book. Like I tried to create a book, and I kind of had like but it wasn't. But I remember this girl came. She was on our sister floor because they ain't had no secretary that day. And I told her, I said, well, call me if you need me. I'm downstairs in ICU. Call me if you need me. And so she called me for something, or maybe I went up there because I'm one of those. Okay, I just go walking and I go see if you're all right. That's how I am. So she was like, I just wish that all the units had like a standard, and we were talking about the phone. I think we were talking about the phone list, the phone number, because there was no like standard phone directory, because we had one on our intranet, but it was so outdated because it had me still working on the other floor. I hadn't been there in 4 years. Okay, like it still had people that didn't work there no more still working. Like people who used to work in ICU, now they showing they still work up in, on our sister floor, or it was just so outdated. And then like each floor had their own phone directory, and like in ours, because ours was because we had so many, because we had all the doctors' cell numbers, and then we had our emergency doctors, like the doctors we see all the time, that we see all the time, and then the other doctors. I mean, we had their cell numbers. We didn't want to throw nothing away because we didn't want to, this one has the doctor's number. So it was just messy. So I just created like a phone book. So it just had every piece of paper that had a cell number or a doctor's number or alternative number for the doctors in this book. Okay, it was in the book. And then I had a Huck book, and it had, you know, ways to, it just had like how to put certain orders in the computer, like old stuff. Because like I would know it because I've been there, because I remember the old system, because we had an old system. We had an old system. And then if the computers go down, like I talked about, night shift knows how to do it because they deal with the computers going down more than the day shift. So they know how to they know the back way in. Whereas somebody new wouldn't. I kind of knew it. But, you know, so I put that in there, you know, but make a book for your unit, because your unit is different. Make a standard operating procedure book. So like, if you don't have a secretary that day, and we had Office Depot, they will bring supplies, and so, you know, our director will order it. We had some for us and some for our sister floor. Well, where does it go? Like, where does it go? Same thing with when the warehouse brought over stuff for the clean utility. Who puts it up? So like in the ICU, the charge nurse usually put it up because they were just so used to putting it up. I would go in there and put it up every now and then. It's just, you know, I think they expected us to, but they always did it. And then but it was like over in a corner, you just didn't see it because the guy came in the other door and he put it up, and then he gone, and it was up against a wall. And if you're sitting at your desk, you know, you don't see it. You might until you walk past it. So I guess but it was right there by them. So I guess that's why they always did it. But who puts it up? Where does the Office Depot, where does the supplies go when they bring the stuff? Where does it go? Like, these are things that in our unit, in the ICU, the charge nurse is our backup. But like, what about on the other floor? Because I'm trying to think. When I was on the main floor, I don't know where that stuff went. Now I think about it, I guess it went all the way to the back. But I guess they just took it all the way to the back, because I don't know. I don't ever really remember seeing the man. I know about the pantries. The charge nurse ordered it. But like, what goes on in your unit? Like, you know your unit. Now, if you new and you learning, that's different. But if you someone like me, you've been there for a while, you know your unit. And your unit is different than other units. So, you know, my biggest thing, like, there was a floor that couldn't keep nobody. They always had floats, okay? Like, float secretaries, float CNAs, float nurses, float everybody. Like, they never went one day with their own staff, ever, okay? And now they did have where they had like the pantries, because they had, how many pantries they had? They had 2 med rooms. I think they only had 1 pantry that was never stocked with nothing. No, yeah, that one. Yeah, I guess they only had 1 pantry. It was nasty. It was the nastiest. Ugh. And then but that was a nasty. They and then like and then a break room. The break room did the break room have a lock on it? I know the pantry did, but they had little cards. They had made little cards to tell you what the code was to the med room. And because the 2 med rooms had different codes, and then the pantry, it might have been the same. And then the dirty utility, and then they had a clean utility. I want to say they had 2 pantries, but I know I think I always went to that one because that one was cleaner than I don't know how I don't know how they passed J-code. Just thinking about that floor, nasty. Like, how your pantry nasty? Y'all do not understand me, because we were told by J-code that we had the cleanest pantry in the hospital, which we did, because you know, your girl made sure, okay? That part of the hospital was 10 years old and it still looked good. And I made sure our pantry was labeled. You know, this is where the forks are, this is where the spoons are, sugar, everything. Like, don't play with me, because I'm the one went in there and organized it. when I went over there, because I'm like, I can't deal with all this. Okay, y'all just, but they pantry was nasty because they never, it's the nastiest thing. But you know, so create a book and have in there like your director, what's their extension, what's the manager extension. Which now I will say that the other floor that was nasty, they were good because they had their they had a phone directory taped to the desk, to the nurse's station, and where the secretary sat, and it had all the other units in their extension, and then it had their director, their manager, and their extensions. So that was good. But like, just put it in the book. Just put it in the book, SOP book, and then put, like, if you got codes, like I said, we wouldn't need the codes except for the clean utility, because that's the only thing that had a code. The break room had a code. I think I was the only one that knew it, because that door was always open. And then we had an office that had a code, but that door was always open too, even though it wasn't supposed to be, because it's fire hazard. But we propped it open, even though we wasn't supposed to, because, you know, fire hazard. And if the door is supposed to be closed, like if it automatically closes, you can't prop a door open. And I'm gonna make a video about that, about fire. You're not supposed to prop the door open if it's supposed to be closed, because it's a fire hazard. Because if a fire were to happen, it's going to release and close the doors to protect, so that the fire doesn't spread. But if you got it propped open with a chair like we did, you ain't supposed to do that. But anyway, so you know, just something like that. Just make it easy. Just think about if you were a secretary coming over to the department for the first time, where is everything at? Do you want it to be hard? You want it to be, because y'all know when you go to another floor, these people ain't never seen you before in their life. Okay, they ain't never seen you before. They don't know your name. They ain't never seen you, but you got to know where everything is. Like, you the one work here. I'm afloat. You work here. I'm afloat. They want you to know everything. Like, you ain't never seen me before in your life. Okay, but I'm supposed to know where everything is here. Like, everything. Same thing. Like that one floor that was nasty. When I talk about they was nasty, like, they was rationing the wipes that you use to sanitize. They were rationing. I could never find no wipes. They was just they was nasty. They was nasty. I don't know how I don't know how Jacob. I don't know how. But anyway, like, where the wipes? Like, I should not have to hunt. I should not have to go back to my unit to get some wipes. Okay, I remember this one unit. They was nasty, but they was kind of, I don't know. I think they just had too much paper that had been there for a long time. They did have a lot of paper all over the place, and because I remember I had to go, because they was kind of rationing the wipes too. This was a long time ago. And then I went to their sister floor, and I had to go back to my unit, to the ICU, and get some bleach and sanitize. I was like, I'm itching. I don't know what is biting me. Something is biting me up here. Okay, I'm itching. But it had bit me before when I was down on the other floor, on their sister floor. Because I think they just had a lot of paper, and it was like, I don't know. I'm like, something bite me. I gotta sanitize this hole, because this regular wipes ain't working. I gotta go get some bleach. I couldn't find no bleach on the unit. Where the bleach at? Where y'all stuff at? Matter of fact, I don't think I ever knew where they clean utility was. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever, or they dirty utility. I just remember they break room had a pen, because I think I might have took a quick break in there. I don't know where they stuff was. I was always at the desk dealing with the call light. They had some patients stayed on the call light. Oh my God. But anyway, y'all, I will talk to you later. I got to go, y'all. I'm late. All right then. Bye.